I'd like to start off first by saying I thank everybody, because if I miss someone, it is not intentional. But when you look at the number of individuals that were involved to be able to make a development like this happen, it does take a village. And this is clearly a demonstration of perseverance, community engagement, public-private partnerships. And not only is the financing and the capital stack very complicated on this transaction, but we survived tax reform and uncertainties, was very quick to make the necessary adjustments that needed to take place. Here, we'll take care of that real quick. That needed to take place to ensure that we had the proper structure to capitalize on the highest level of yield on the tax credits. You know, and so thank you for your support on that, because without the ongoing extensions and things as it relates to new markets, I can tell you this is the but-for test. So how did this all come together? First of all, through the new market tax credits, and I'm very excited to tell you that as a new CDE of Central States, we are a third-time award winner. And we've received over $100 million. And as I've mentioned with your staff when I'm on the Hill, in the first 18 months, we brought just under 2,000 new jobs to the state of Illinois. These are good paying quality jobs with benefits as well as a livable wage. So that is the direct impact that it's had. And with our most recent award of another $35 million, as well as the state credit to our state elected officials, we're looking forward to doing some great and amazing things here in the state of Illinois. So thank you for your support there. So $2.1 million came in through the tax credit equity. It was an actual $8 million allocation. That couldn't have happened without the support of PNC Bank and Central Bank of Kansas City, who not only provided allocation but made the equity investment. So from the PNC perspective, they provided credit, and then they also provided the investment. And then our federal historic tax credit. So we're so glad that that's back in. We did make it happen on New Year's Eve to get the 1-year credit as opposed to the 5-year credit. But we did it, and Cindy Berg, our CFO, was quite helpful in making sure that that happened. So the preservation of the historic tax credit, again, but for that, this project wouldn't have happened. The Illinois Housing Donation State Tax Credit, and thank you to our elected officials that submitted the extension on that. We've been working with those since 2003. And through the reduced sales price, we were able to also, and then working closely with the city on how the structure and the flow of funds came in through the TIF, we were able to incorporate that, and we were able to leverage the reduced sales price, the TIF investment, to be able to bring another $1.4 million in state donation tax credit that went into the project. So the TIF was 1.6. We almost leveraged dollar for dollar. To our city officials, we almost leveraged dollar for dollar your TIF investment into this project. And then debt. IMB, we're glad you loaned us some money. You know, when we started this project, I had more hair and it was dark. And those of you that we met about 5 years ago, that's true, actually. And then, of course, our developer contribution. We're very proud of this development. It is something that we want to be a beacon for downtown Springfield, and this close to the Capitol, we want to make sure our elected officials understand this is a direct benefit and a product and a result of all that we, when we have our advocacy hats on, stand for as it relates as we try to work toward social justice and a fair economy. Again, I talked about everyone that was involved. And talked about the complexities of it. I've been doing this for about 20 years. This is probably one of the toughest one I've done. How appropriate in the land of Lincoln that perseverance is here, and I'm very proud of that. So Senator Durbin, thank you for flying in today. It means a lot. And as you know from all the material we leave in your office 3 and 4 times a year, we certainly are looking for the extension of the new market tax credits. We know that in the first 18 months, the return to the taxpayer on that 7-year credit, we are at a cost neutral. So what does that mean? At a time when we're looking at budgets and we're looking at a 7-year credit based on the jobs that it creates and the wages that it generates, at 18 months, it's a break-even point, and then it's a return on investment to the taxpayer. So clearly, the new market tax credit extension and permanency would be great. It allows, because as we know, this project was in pre-development for several years, it allows for certainty in the marketplace to allow people to budget and make things happen. And because I'm a housing guy, I got to also talk to you about the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act. And as we continue to look at increasing jobs, we need workforce housing more now than ever. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, sir. Yeah.
I'm going to try to use this, see how this works. Brian, thanks for the nice introduction. $100 million bucks. Why am I paying any attention to the Powerball? I mean, that's big money in the new market tax credit.
Yes, yes.
No idea how much, but thank you for your nice words, and I want to acknowledge State Representative Mike Murphy. Used to deliver the bacon and eggs to my table, and now he's delivering for Springfield and the surrounding area in the State House of Representatives. Sue Scheer, my friend of many years, thank you, Sue, as well, State Representative. But a special shout out to a fellow named Herb Smith, right here in the front row. Herb and I go back a few years, Herb, don't we? And I remember the days when I was just a lawyer in this town trying to make a living, and on the side of one political party, and you might have been on the side of another political party, and we would have a battle once every 2 years around November, but not very much beyond that. But then we'd get together, and Herb was my friend. I mean, that was the kind of way it worked.
Yes,
If it was a YMCA roundup, Democrats and Republicans all came in there and dressed up like cowboys and made foolish statements and raised some money for the Y.
all the governors.
Yes, everybody came through. But Herb, you've really given so much to this community, and I know you're an integral part of the success of this project, and he deserves a round of applause. Herb, thank you. This new market tax credit needed some money, and I happened to be on the appropriations subcommittee that provided the money, and I was hoping the day might come when it would be helpful to my state and, of course, to my hometown. I'm particularly excited that this new markets tax credit program turned out to be the vehicle that made the difference for the funding of this. We established it in the year 2000, an incentive, a tax incentive for private investment in historically underserved communities. Private investment has gone to fund important projects, healthcare centers, daycare, shopping centers, distribution centers, and now the center at 501. Not only do these projects help the community and improve the overall quality of life, they bring in high-quality, family-supporting jobs. I just noticed Alderman Donilon here. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to get in trouble because I'm going to miss somebody in the process here, but I noticed you're here. Thank you for being with us. So I just want to say I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy that this is going to bring together the Springfield Chamber of Commerce is going to be part of the occupancy here.
Yes, they're here now. You'll be able to take a tour of their office.
Good, that's great. And I see Andy Van Meter in the back there. Andy is chairman of the Sangamon County Board, has been a friend. I've known him since he was in high school, and we've worked on a lot of things together, and we just left a project that is good for the future of our town of Springfield related to the Capitol bill that the governor just signed a few blocks from here. So it's a wonderful news that this is now going to be converted into a very functioning and important part of the downtown community. I'm glad that this federal money came along when you needed it. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Also, Cameron Joost is here. The state director is here on behalf of Senator Tammy Duckworth. She wanted to be acknowledged. I'm in Tammy's office as much. It helps that her Rock Island office is right behind our office, as you know. And again, we also appreciate her support, and the staff when we come to Washington, and both your offices are amazing to work with. And I can tell that they feel as passionate about what we believe in as we do. So thank you very much. And also Candace Trees on behalf of Congressman Rodney Davis. Hi, thank you for being here. Unfortunately, the mayor couldn't be here, so based on that, I believe, Val, you're going to come up and say a few words and do an introduction?
Sure will.
Excellent.
Thank you. What an exciting day for Springfield and for the downtown in particular. And thank you so much, Brian, for having this inside, since all of us stood outside for a little over an hour in the heat, and we really appreciate that. But as I stand here now and look, I've watched this building transform from the very first time, and if you look around here now, it's unbelievable to think what it was. This is a perfect example of adaptive reuse. We're excited at the city that we were able to participate through TIF funding for this, and as Brian mentioned, it was a very complicated financing issue to deal with. And it's been a pleasure to work with Brian and his team, and of course all the other partners in our community. I don't know how we would have gotten this done had we not had everyone just pulling together for this. So we're very excited to be a part of this today. And now I'd just like to take a moment to introduce our Deputy Mayor, Bonnie Drew.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. Mayor Langfelder sends his regrets. He is at the U.S. Conference of Mayors Conference. He's working hard for us today, but I am honored to be here on his behalf, and I would like to acknowledge Senator Durbin and all the elected officials, state and federal, from Cameron from Senator Duckworth's office. We appreciate you being here, but we want to thank you, Senator Durbin, for your commitment and dedication to Springfield. This city is your home, and you have never forgotten your roots, and that is much appreciated by all. If walls could talk, if walls could talk, this space could share some stories. Beginning as a church, it welcomed a congregation of people for Mass and celebrations, including baptisms and weddings. Then from 2008 to 2010, the doors were open to the neediest of our community as home of the Springfield Winter Overflow Shelter. Today, we mark the return of the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce to the heart of our city, while steps away, providing the much-needed downtown housing that's been long discussed. This is not just a ribbon cutting. This event marks another positive step forward for our great downtown. Last year, downtown celebrated the opening of the Bicentennial Plaza, the Kidzeum, and the reopening of the Governor's Mansion. This year, we are welcoming hundreds of residents and visitors for live music every Thursday evening just across the street. A few blocks away, the new Capitol bill was passed, and that included the funding for the Armory restoration and the hope of welcoming a new neighbor across the street on the Y Block. The City of Springfield is a proud partner of the Center at 501. Thank you to our City Council for supporting this project and to our staff for their efforts and assistance. We look forward to seeing what other good things are in store. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask Representative Mike Murphy to come to the podium.
Thank you very much. This project is really exciting to me. I'm here today not only as a member of the General Assembly, but I'm a proud member of the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. I'm in my 5th year here. And I remember the first time this project came to us, and I'm very proud that the board of the Chamber and under the leadership of Chris, we decided to be part of the equity partnership. And then as the project moved on, that wasn't necessary, and so we stepped aside, but we are a tenant, and I'm very proud of that. Bonnie just mentioned what's gone on with the realtors, what they've done, the renovation of the Governor's Mansion. I look forward to additional progress on the Y Block. And you know, we need to do this throughout downtown. I remember when I was a kid how vibrant downtown Springfield is, and it's the heart of the city. And I'm just really appreciative of what you've done here. It's amazing. I walked through this when it was a shell, and I didn't know how you were going to do it. And you just did an unbelievable job. And so I just want to thank you, and I look forward to this project and many more like this in Springfield. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, Representative Sue Scher, if you could step forward, please.
Thank you. Another parade of thank yous, I guess, but to be appropriate, I do want to thank all of you for being here. You're all busy. You put things aside to find a way to be here, and we really appreciate it. Thank you to our Springfield Chamber of Commerce. It's exciting that you've moved downtown in this very building, and to our honored dignitaries, of course, who've been mentioned repeatedly, but we are so, I mean, how many people get to have our U.S. Senator at something like this? It just doesn't happen, right? So And thank you for making it a cooler venue, because we were all a little sweaty in our hour outside before this. So I was thinking about this last night, actually. Woke up in the middle of the night and I thought, you know, how many songs are written about it's time? Time keeps on ticking into the future, or there never seems to be enough time. You'll all have all these songs going through your head now. Sorry I did that to you for the day. But anyway, the time, folks, is now. The time is now. We can't keep putting things off to the future and leaving it to the next generation. We've done that too much. It's time to bring downtown Springfield back to life. It's time to carry out our plans for the Y Block, and not just, I remember when I started this job just 7 years ago, speaking to the mayor at the time and him showing me the vision for the Y Block. And we can't always have things just be visions. We have to move them forward. It's time to bring the tax credits to fruition and have them make a difference. It's time to use our TIF districts so that they help our communities. It's time to raise the quality of life. It's time to put people to work. It's time to make the families that came before us proud of us. It's time to lay the groundwork for the future generations, so we leave it better than we found it. We have to make the future secure. We have to make Illinois and the city of Springfield leaders in job growth. Instead of at the bottom of the pack, we are important citizens right here, and other communities look to us for our leadership. We have the resources right here in Springfield. We have very intelligent people. We have hardworking people. We have natural-born leaders. We have people with inner strength and courage, and we all know how hard that is. Let's put it to use. I said this many times, that we can do better. And this project today at Center 501 proves that we can do better, and we are doing better. My little grandson turns 5 today. Well, you know, he only gets to be in kindergarten once. So this is the kind of project that will help turn this state around and truly start making a difference in the lives of our future leaders, instead of always pushing things off for the next generation. I couldn't be happier to be invited here today, and more proud to say this is part of our district, and we are all putting our heads together and working together to make great things happen. So thanks for being here.
So I get the fun part in most of the situations, and then once everything is placed together, as I previously disclosed, then really the hard work begins. And this is a time to really thank them and the development team. You need to know who's here. First of all, it was in the works for 3 years, probably a little longer, seems like it. 11 months construction. That's significant because with the complexities of the financing, we can demonstrate a project can still be done in a cost-effective, timely manner. But that only works if you have a great construction manager and you have a great architect, all local. So O'Shea Builders is certainly Tyler, Justin, and Brett. A big shout out and a thank you. I really appreciate everything that you did. On the architect side, obviously Evan Lloyd, you know the firm well. Tim Smith and Larry. Where's Larry? Is he here? Okay. We had a lot of great conversations in their conference room as they chose all the finishes and they'd set them out in front and we'd go, that looked great, that sounds really good. Applegate Thorne Thompson, you need a good legal team to put together the complexities of what was here. Home-based property management, that is our own property management firm, so we are a vested developer owner. And the fact that we'll have on-site property management and also the maintenance, that's all local. Again, I think we had 80 applications for the position, as I understand it. Carrie Jorgensen is our director, but unfortunately she wasn't able to be here. Internally, Andy Fisher. Those of you that met Andy, I'm sorry. But certainly he put his blood, sweat, and tears in this project. And then Cindy Berg, our CFO, has been such a great addition to our organization over the last couple of years. For that, I thank you. And then, of course, the chamber. It's make no mistake, when I started off, and I didn't want to make it short by saying I thank everyone so that I don't miss anyone, but if you looked at community, public-private partnerships, and a group and a community that comes together, that no matter what their personal feelings are or any personal agendas, that all come together with one voice for one specific thing, that's what took place here in order for this project to happen. And I don't want you to minimize that, because I can assure you, if it wasn't for the commitment of this local community and many conversations with Chris, him talking me off the edge, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. So, Chris, if you'd come up, and also Abby. I need Chris and Abby to come up for just a minute. Sorry, Abby. So we talk about the complexities of how this is, and the best way I can demonstrate this, Chris, this is yours. I did go ahead and start it because these are difficult to undo. I want you to open that, and then when you open the T-shirt, then you pull up and look at the back. All right? We gave these to your staff when we were there in March, so I know you've probably seen this. I know they wore them every day, so. Isn't it amazing they can crunch a T-shirt up?
Yes, it is. I'm not sure if mine's big enough, but
It will get there. I want you to turn around and show the group. And would you read this? One of you read what it says?
All you need to know about New Market tax credits. CDFI created MNTCS, which comes from QEIs made into CDEs, which must make QLICIS into QALICBS. It's that simple.
So Chris, could you say a few words?
yeah, sure will. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Brian, thanks for pulling this project off. I walked in the doors of the chamber 5 years ago, and I was handed a packet of paper. It was called the Bowen Housing Study, and it revealed that we had a substantial need for additional downtown residential units. And I was handed that packet, and I was told, do something with this. And so pretty quickly thereafter, we found Brian. There were some of our folks, I see Tom Gill here, who were already having some conversations with Brian's organization. But we reached out, we found the best person we could find to help lead this project. And so we helped to facilitate that, and as Brian said, there were many conversations. I remember one when you were in DC at midnight, talking on the phone about this project and talking him off of the ledge. But we found the right person, recruited him to come to Springfield to make an investment of their financial resources, his time, and oftentimes frustration in a project like this. But Brian pulled together a team of folks locally and really throughout the Midwest when it comes to the financing of this project to make this happen. I think it's a great example, as you stated, of what a community can do together. It started as a vision. Sue, you mentioned earlier, everything can't stay as a vision. This was a dream 5 years ago. And we went around, a small team of us, and we evaluated a number of properties with the help of Tim Smith, and determined that this was the most feasible site and the most feasible property to get this done, and in the most prominent location, just up the street from the Capitol and across from the governor's mansion. And so we picked this site, and Brian took it from there with the assistance of a number of other folks. So thanks to all of you in the room who've been a part of this. Senator Durbin, thank you for the federal tax credits. Historic tax credits have been a unique part of this project. If you have time today, as you visit, tour some of the apartments, as you walk down to the corner and tour the chamber facility, you will see pieces of the church that are a part of the project that had to be restored and remain in the building in order to receive the historic tax credits. Some project, all the thanks to Brian and to you in the room, O'Shea Builders, Tim Smith and Evan Lloyd for your work. Thank you.
Don't forget I know you want this T-shirt now, so don't forget that. Also, just a couple other acknowledgments. When we talk about historic and history, Brent Henderson and Bruce Ferry, they're here in the audience, I believe. Hi. Bryn is the wife of the late Earl Wally Henderson. And Bruce Ferry is the son of the late Don Ferry. And both were here today and have a significant history with this building as well, from providing the architectural services and the design. So I'm humbled at the fact that we were able to take something that you designed, make an adaptive reuse that will be a good, strong contribution to the economic vitality of downtown Springfield. So thank you. All right, I saved this for last. When I was having a conversation with the mayor about a year ago, we were discussing about a groundbreaking, and I said, you know, I just really don't think we're going to have one. And he was like, why? Why wouldn't you have a groundbreaking? Because I really wanted this to be, there's another unsung hero here, and I've got a gag order, I can't talk about him, but he's a very dear friend of mine, and without him, I can assure you this wouldn't have happened. But through his leadership and guidance, he also allowed a lot as it related to Irv Smith. And Irv, can you just slide that chair around over here?
I can stand up.
Okay, you sure?
Or I can try it. The chair has to slide. Thank you, sir.
So instead of having a groundbreaking, what we did is we acknowledged Irv and his wife for their commitment. And this will be hung into the building here. But also, during this time, since we gave the original presentation, you've enjoyed looking at it, and I understand you're getting one of your own.
I had it on my wall at my new home. It's pretty good. And I want to thank everybody. Dick, your help was just without measure. In the State General Assembly, I know Bill Houlihan, my old friend. You know, we've been around a long time in this community. And we know each other, we compete against each other, we work against each other, but we work for each other and we compete together for a better Springfield and a better Illinois. And whatever we can do to make this a better community, we must. There is no other way, and we can't give it up, not for 1 second. So let's keep going, and thank you very much.
Thank you. So since you can't see what it says, I'll read it to you. Center at 501, built 1978, restored 2018. In honor of Irv and Joan Smith, whose vision and unselfish generosity helped make this restoration possible. Their lifetime commitment to the citizens of Springfield and Sangamon County have touched and inspired generations and generations to come.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now for the great time, right? For the official ribbon cutting. So
we're all going to share the scissors.
I want Irv to do it.
You want Irv to do
Yep,
it?
I sure do.
Excellent.
How about it?
You're too kind. I can't even hold this.
better hurry, Beth. There you go. Yay!